Alright, what's up, YouTube? This is BoxingWave. Bryant Jennings, Louis Ortiz, the real King Kong. Okay, this is a fight that I'm pretty surprised that Bryant Jennings took. All right, because I know Golden Boy has been pushing Louis Ortiz fast, trying to get him a big matchup. They want him. He's 36 years old, so he started professionally kind of late, and they've been pushing to get him a big fight. Now I know. Uh, Bryant Jennings, they offered the fight to Bryant Jennings for the Golovkin Lemieux pay-per-view on the undercard for that. And then I think they tried to get Louis Ortiz to fight Berman Stavern, all right? A fight that didn't happen as well. So now Bryant Jennings is going to be fighting Louis Ortiz, okay? And it's a dangerous fight for Bryant Jennings, and I'll get to that in a second. Louis Ortiz, I mean, 36 years old, slick Cuban fighter, southpaw, a heavyweight work version of a Guillermo Rigondeaux. He's willing to actually fight and engage with you too. Very arrogant, very cocky in his style, and very confident in his talent. Big puncher. More like a Guillermo Rigondeaux, just a bigger version of him. Not like Lara, because he doesn't move as much as Lara. He engages a lot more than Lara. He actually wants to go for the knockout, okay? But we haven't really seen him fight anyone good, okay? I want to say the two best fighters he fought was probably Monty Barrett and Latif Coyote, a fight that he failed. He actually tested positive for PEDs in that fight. This is Louis Ortiz here. So, with that being said, the guy hasn't really went 12 rounds, and Bryant Jennings is the guy that he's kind of gun shy early in the fight. He likes to put on the pressure later in the second half of the fight and try to shut you down later in the later rounds. He tries to outwork you. Okay, doesn't always work. It didn't work against Klitschko. I think he waited a little too long to get it going in that fight, and he wasn't able to maintain it. Even Klitschko pretty much beat him up in the 12th round. Klitschko actually went to war with this guy, and Jennings seemed to only be, yeah, I don't want to go out the loop. And let me bring this up. I want to bring this up since I'm talking about it now. The thing with people that fight Klitschko and his opponents, they seem to only really be concerned with having a good fight with him instead of actually beating him. And I think because of the fact that the Klitschko's dominated the heavyweight division for so long, a lot of guys just go in there and want to survive, okay? I remember when Kevin Johnson was fighting Anthony Joshua, and then leading up to the fight, everyone kept saying, Kingpin never been knocked out. He's never been down. He fought Klitschko and went 12 rounds with him. And, a lot of people seem to be impressed with that. When like, well, he's fighting a big, up-and-coming young fighter, strong, very strong, and he's been coming off, Kingpin's been coming off a few losses, and even though he fought and survived against Vlad, he didn't really stand a chance to get him. He really didn't have nothing for him, and that's how I thought going into the Anthony Joshua fight. And then look what happens. Anthony Joshua drops him multiple times in the first round, almost knocking him out in the first round. I think he did knock him out or stop him in the first round. First round or second round. And, the same thing with Bryant Jennings. Bryant Jennings just didn't go for the win. It seemed like he had some good rounds in the middle half of the fight. He took some good shots from Klitschko, and it seemed like him and his camp was impressed with the fact that he survived and had a good, a sort of a competitive fight with Klitschko. And, that's really not impressive when you could have went for the win, I mean, yeah, if you were aggressive, there's a good chance that you might have got caught with a good shot or might have got knocked out, but just surviving alone is not really that impressive. You should be trying to take this guy's belt from him, And, I feel like his fight with Bryant Jennings' fight with Mike Perez could have easily won that fight, if he didn't get so tired. You know, we always knew Mike Perez was always overweight, and he's always had stamina issues. And you know, Bryant Jennings exposed that in the second half of the fight. But even in that, I don't even think Bryant Jennings won every round in the second half of the fight. You know, I think that could have easily went to. I mean, I wanted Jennings to win the fight, but if they gave it to the Cuban Mike Perez, I would have been cool with it because I thought Mike Perez was outpointing him for the majority of the first half, like the entire first half. All right, so you know, Bryant Jennings is a little too gun shy. Okay, and I think in this fight, I don't know where he's gonna try to go. I think he's gonna use the same strategy. You know, he's fighting a 36-year-old man. He has the age advantage. And then as a professional, Louis Ortiz has not gone 12 rounds. I don't believe he has. Okay, he's been knocking guys out, and he's up there in age. You know, and for his age, he's pretty athletic. You know, but he's gonna fight a guy here, a younger fighter that is used to being in 12-round fights. And, you know, I'm sure Jennings' game plan is try to take over in the second half of the fight without. But in my opinion, I don't think he should be so gun shy early. He's a good body puncher. He should definitely go to Ortiz's body early on, okay? But Ortiz is gonna be hard to hit. He's very slick. He's pretty good defensively, and he has a lot of speed and power. Jennings is he's gonna have to be very careful in this fight. I don't know what Bryant Jennings is gonna do. In the earlier rounds, I think Ortiz is gonna jump up and have a quick start early. In a fight, I think he's gonna win the first 3 or 4 rounds. Bryant Jennings is gonna have to find somewhere early on to try to engage with this guy and not wait so long to throw punches and fight this guy. Okay, he's gonna have to wear him down and go to the body early. So in the later rounds, where Bryant Jennings usually shines, like he did against Splika and Perez, he's gonna have to find something early on to get down and you know, and try to make Ortiz gain some respect from Ortiz early on. Okay. Ortiz hasn't really fought anyone, but he's looked impressive with everyone he's fought. And from what I've seen, Ortiz is the more talented fighter. He's more experienced overall as a boxer because of his long amateur pedigree. Bryant Jennings has been boxing for 6 years, and even though he's very skillful, I don't know if he can win this fight if he can't slow Ortiz down. I think his best way of and his only chance of winning this fight is if he slows Ortiz down and take over in the second half of the fight. If he can't do that, then I don't expect Ortiz to lose this fight, okay? I think it's going to go to decision. I think Bryant Jennings has proven that he has a pretty solid chin. I know he's been down against Bowie Topu, but he showed to have a pretty good chin against Vladimir Klitschko. Klitschko hit him with some big shots, and he took him pretty well. So I'm expecting Ortiz to win this one, okay? I do think it's a 50-50 fight. I do think Jennings could win this fight by rallying later in the later rounds, but I'm going to go with Ortiz on this one, all right? So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and see you on the next one. Peace.